So, welcome all the ladies and gentlemen and my dearest students. So I welcome you all again the another interesting session. So today we have with us uh, a great personality in hospitality industry and very well-known person in the food and beverage service industry, Mr. Arnab Gupta, the food and beverage director for Taj Falaknuma Palace Hotel, Hyderabad. So Mr. Arnab is having very massive experience and great knowledge, especially when it comes to food and beverage service, and he is very passionate hotelier and he's having as I said, more than 15 years experience, and now he's leading the food and beverage service department as a director in the such a most beautiful and the property of Taj Hotels. It's Taj Falaknuma Palace, uh, where everyone wish to go there and to see the property at least once. So having said that, and good afternoon, Mr. Arna, welcome to our IAHM experts session, and it's our great honor and pleasure having you. And just if you can brief about yourself for a few minutes, because we have there are more than 5,000 students would be watching this session. So if you can tell us about yourself and your journey, the success story, for 2 minutes. Over to you, Mr.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Mr. Emmanuel, and always a pleasure to connect with the students. It's not always a one side interaction. I mean, we also get to hear and know a lot from institutes and students, because they sometimes have more varied exposure compared to some of us in the industry who end up working in the hotel and don't step out beyond our scope of work. So it's always a pleasure and honor to connect with you and the team there. And I take it as an opportunity for all of us to always share our experiences, share our views and thoughts on it. So I have around 15 years of experience in this industry. I did my graduation from the Institute of Hotel Management, Mumbai, and following which I joined the Taj Group of Hotels as a management trainee in operations. And during my last 15 years of stint, I have got the opportunity to work in various cities, various hotels in Taj, the Taj Mahal Mumbai, the flagship hotel, cities like Chennai, Delhi, now in Hyderabad. And while working with Taj, I also had the opportunity to complete my master's from Cornell, where I was, sent as a sponsored student, which is, as a part of, grooming young managers. The Taj or the IHCL always, encourages young managers to go and learn and expose themselves to these kind of opportunities. So I take great pride in being part of this industry, because it has so much to offer. At the same time, I see this as one of the most exciting industries to work for. I know there have been challenges post COVID, and it's not only affected us; it's affected the entire world. But it also gives us a lot of opportunity to look back and see what best we can bring forward, and what are the changes which will really drive experiences for our customers and for our internal stakeholders going ahead. So uh, with your permission, would you like me
Yes,
to?
thank you so much for sharing your wonderful journey. I will come to this point later. So many years in touch. So I will ask this question. I will reserve this question for you to ask. I will ask you last. But now we will go to the topic. And as you know, the topic is the continued technological changes and regular innovation in hospitality industry. Because as you know, Mr. Arnab, when we started our career, we didn't have this much of technology innovations, and we don't much strongly upgraded with this technology like what we have. Our students are having completely huge changes. So what do you think, and what is your point of view, the technological innovations in the hospitality industry? Over to you, Mr. Arnab.
Thank you so much. So before I speak about the hospitality industry in general, I would like to give you guys an hindsight of how technology drives uh, drives the innovation culture and how companies or organizations survive, dwell, crash, or really turn a new leaf if they are able to use this as one of their key success factors. So some of the examples like Kodak or Nokia are examples where they were not able to bring in changes with the external technological environment. And your biggest companies in the world today, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Uber, the OTT platforms, these are the best examples where these organizations have been able to harness the disruptive technology, and that's why they are so successful. And hospitality industry is no different. We may associate ourselves with something which is like a form of art or great service culture, but end of the day, we also have to look outside in the external world. What is the expectation of our customers? So the two key factors which we need to always keep in mind is the changing consumer expectation and to be able to meet their demand. So today's consumer, whom we call proudly as guests, are not the same what it was 10 years back or 20 years back. Their profile has changed, their lifestyle has changed, the kind of devices they carry, the kind of day to day work or personal life they have, and the involvement of technology in it. We need to understand that. So if I'm a 35, 40-year old youngster working in a corporate world, I order my food through an app. Whenever I go somewhere, I book my tickets through my mobile phone. I need to watch a movie, I watch it on my OTT platform. I book I don't go out for retail. I just order everything through my Amazon or an online grocery store. So if my lifestyle is revolving around these kind of factors, the same kind of thing has to be a seamless experience which is extended when we are offering it as part of the hospitality industry, whether it's food, it's beverage, it's any other experience like spa or additional experiences which a hospitality unit extends. The second part, which is very important, is in today's world, most of our guests, and not only guests, even us, we are all global travelers. We have been to different destinations within the country, outside the country, and with the access to the online forums through social media, through your Twitter, uh, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, information and experiences can be shared virtually, real time. So maybe 20 years back or 30 years back, I may not have visited Egypt to know about the pyramids. But today I have one of my friends who's visiting the pyramids and showing an online video which I can see on Instagram, and I get excited to visit the place. There are so many things about unique cuisines, unique dishes which is shared by bloggers, by travelers, by your own friends who are there on the social media, by ourselves. When we travel, we love to share about our experiences. So that is something which is important for us to understand, because sharing of information, sharing of experiences, good, bad, unique, is real time, and it does not require time and distance to be able to be incorporated or shared with or reached out to our guests. So once we understand these two things, it just becomes easier for any industry or organization to incorporate technology to for their strengths. Another example, I would say, for example, maybe 20 years back, if I had to make a mother sauce in my kitchen, or if I had to open a bottle of wine, either I had to learn it from my parents or my grandmother or somebody who has the information or knowledge about it, or I had to enroll myself into a hospitality college. But now, I mean, you have your teenagers or even 8 or 9-year-old kids who have access to all the videos and information online, and they don't need to really visit a place or consult an expert to be able to carry out creating a cuisine or a dish, or getting exposed to any kind of the experiences which we offer to our guests. So it's a really competitive world, and it makes it very important for us to understand these minute elements when we design the experiences for the guests. So going ahead, few of the areas where I think we need to look at, and a lot of hotels have started working upon, I would kind of break it down to 4 or 5 elements. The first of the and a lot of these elements have been exploited or explored very well, especially post COVID, because a lot of experiences had to be touch free, seamless, involving technology where there is elements of cost savings, at the same time ensuring that there's consistency. Because in hotels or hospitality industry, consistency is always uh, connected with experience or the skill level of the employees. If you have experienced staff, if you have skillful staff, if you have team members who have handled these kind of situation before, that's when you get a consistent seamless service. But going ahead, we know the challenges we face, and that may not be something which would be easily accessible. So therefore, technology brings in an extreme important element where we work towards a seamless and consistent service. So one of the key factors here is property management system or energy management system, which I'm sure a lot of hotels have incorporated in the last 1.5 years. It involves of putting in smart sensors or heat or temperature control, of units, lighting, smart lighting, utilizing of digitization of your arrival experience or your restaurant booking process. Even basic things like menus have been digitized, so everything is on a code, QR code, or something which can be accessed online. A lot of our hotels in Taj have gone ahead and moved to the e-check-in, where all the documents the guest can upload it before check-in, before arrival. So it's a seamless paper-free experience where you don't need a physical registration card. You don't need to submit physical copy of your identity proof, and things like probably going ahead, we may not even have a key, which is key card or key given for a check-in. You may have it through your mobile phone or a smart chip or something which you carry, which carries all your information. So these are the evolution which hotels are going towards. The second important thing is usage of data. In the olden days, data was always used to document into files. We had guest history reg cards, we had guest preference sheets. But as a simple example, I'll tell you, when you go to withdraw money on your ATM, it prompts you, would you want to withdraw this much amount because that was your last transaction amount, or that is the most preferred transaction amount. But I'm sure when our parents or even us in our younger days used to go to our bank and withdraw money from a cashier through a passbook, the cashier may not even remember us by our preference, or what is the amount we withdraw, what is our bank status. It will take them at least 5 to 10 minutes to figure out that. But with the availability of information, even when you book, or when you try to book a ticket, or you try to order food through your online food app through Swiggy or Zomato, it always prompts you, okay, this was the last order which you gave, or this is the preferred airlines you take, or this is the preferred dish you order frequently. Would you like to go for that? So that's how technology is being utilized to bridge the gap, servicing the customer. Where in the yesteryears, it depended on your key staff members who would remember the guest, who would remember their preferences, who would identify them by their number of visits or the number of times they have spent, or what has been their experiences. If this gets documented and gets utilized, you can actually create a very seamless experience where you start prompting the guest on what they prefer. And I'm sure all of us somewhere, when we are doing online shopping, or when we are on the social media platform, we realize that happening. Probably we are having a conversation on visiting Las Vegas, and I open my Facebook page and I see you know offers on Las Vegas being flashed. So that's how, I mean, it can get creepy at times, but I understand that a lot of us find it very convenient, because in our busy day life, when we get prompted for our preferences or prompted for things which is part of our lifestyle, it becomes easy for us to choose from options which are already there with us, rather than keeping it open ended, and it becomes fast in terms of our decision making. So that's how a lot of forums where your online booking, your online reservation, most of us are able to even book our or view menus or view experiences online. You don't need to kind of go and visit a place to be able to experience how it looks like. in your social platform or your online platform, you have a virtual tour of the venue or the hotel or the experience which is shown, and that's what you kind of see or you can expect as a representation when you experience it in real. Um, Taking it a little forward, I think a lot of hotels, organizations, brands, for them managing their online reputation is also becoming easier with the use of technology. Brand positioning, which was a very key factor for most of the brands in the past. I mean, why do we talk about, the Ritz Carltons or the Four Seasons, or in India, let's say the Taj, Oberoi, ITC as the great Indian brands, or the Leelas? These are all because we have over the years, last, 100 year, 50 year, 10, 20 years, have worked towards creating experiences for our guests, and through the word of mouth or the reviews or the repetitive nature of visit of our referral groups, we have built that reputation. But in today's world, if you use technology smartly, you can really kind of manage your online review platforms, your social media platforms, and you can reach out to your targeted customers much faster and much more efficiently compared to what it was 10 years back or 20 years back. So that's how it is much easier for brands or organizations to manage their reputation, to able to reach out to their target customers. So this is the overall, areas where hotels have started looking at harnessing. Taking it a little ahead, I'm sure, I mean, internationally or in India, hotels have not been able to get it on a complete form. But in terms of the room and dining experiences, I'm sure in a couple of years we'll see a major shift. Customization of how your room has to be set, customization of your amenities, your mini bar, your food orders will all become much more personalized without having probably a private butler or without having somebody who's been servicing you for the last 10 years or 20 years. So that's where I see a lot of brands which may not have the advantage of having the legacy or the history, but if they are able to harness the technology very well, will have a first point advantage compared to a lot of brands if they're not able to uh, understand how this can be used. So one of the best examples I would say, like you have big brands like Airbnb or Oyo. You would have not thought that they would manage so much of, even a Marriott or a Intercon is not able to manage that much of inventory. And end of the day, they are a software company. It's just a booking system. They don't really own inventory, but they are managing it. So similarly, I mean, just taking small examples which you can understand going ahead, how things will change. Post COVID, all the restaurants were shut. So that was an opportunity for cloud kitchens to open up. A lot of our, partners or colleagues, they started cooking at home or back-end kitchens where food was, packed and presented and, served hygienically, and with help of transport partners, it could be delivered. It could be delivered to corporates. It could be delivered to our households. We would have never thought of that. For us, restaurant dining is always something which I need to see physical. I need to see a nice physical menu. I need to see tables, chairs, great chefs working behind the counter. That's when I trust that the quality of food or hygiene would be great. But today we just order food from somewhere and we don't even know that restaurant exists because we've physically not seen that restaurant. But still, if the food is great, the presentation is good, great, I'll start reviewing that venue or brand, and that's how you gain popularity. That's how you expand. So these are the few examples, and going ahead. I'm sure a lot of automation will come in space. A lot of robotic technology will be used. I mean, one of the things which I was learning when I was in Cornell was the 3D printing of food. I mean, that was it at that time. It was in a nascent stage, but I mean, I'm sure going ahead, it will become a big innovation because a lot of us are very health conscious. We want our food to be, in terms of a specific calorific value. We want certain, carbs, percentage of carbs, fat. Every product which you buy from the retail now has detailed information on the, allergens and things like that, and that would have probably not been even explored 20 years back when an order taker takes your order in the restaurant. But with the availability of these technologies, we were able to customize our food. I may have a salmon steak look like a salmon steak, but may have a higher carb or a higher protein percentage compared to a real, fillet of salmon, which I really cook and have it served or presented. So things like that. Of course, I mean, for all my friends and colleagues who are in the culinary field, we have seen so much of vast change over the last 20 years. But being in the industry, what I feel, what we have seen in the last 20 years, the rate of level of change, we'll probably see the same growth rate or the change rate in the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, and that's what will be possible with technology. We will have really unique ingredients which will come in the market. We'll have different cooking techniques. Food was always regarded as something which is a form of art, and of course there was always a question whether it's art or it's science. But I feel over the last 5 or 10 years, the part of science is slowly taken a little lead ahead. Even in terms of beverages, we see so many different infused spirits, alcohol free cocktails, alcohol free wines, homegrown craft beverages, which was not there before. So it was the traditional cocktails, and we always learned in our colleges, these were the cocktails. So gin was prevalent from 1910 to 1930. Then the vodka came, and then the cocktails came. But I'm sure in the last 5 years or 10 years, and going ahead in the next 5 years, it will be a different change. I mean, wine was always a cork, and then we had the screw caps. And maybe in 2 years, we'll have wine being served in cans, temperature controlled or pressure controlled cans, where it stays for the next 20 years. You have a very expensive Chateau Margaux of a particular vintage. You don't want to put it in a glass bottle where it has a life of 25, 30 years. You rather put it in a kind of a technology, driven material or content where it stays for the next 100 years. So why not? I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, things will be enhanced, and things will be very different from what it is today. So here is where I would like to kind of, in a way, conclude of how things look forward to in terms of the change, and how we will be able to adapt if we bring in technology in our day-to-day work or our lifestyle.
Wonderful, Mr. Arnab, and it was a lot of insights, of course. And you covered how things are happening around us, and how what are the changes we have seen from the childhood. We are seeing a lot of changes when we are growing up, and but last 5 years, the innovations of the technology is huge than the before 15 years or 20 years if we talk about. But still, I have you covered everything. But still, I have two questions. I want to ask from you because you touched that part. What is the idea behind Qmin? Because everybody, surprised when Taj started something called Qmin, home delivery, app kind based, food delivery. So, what is the idea behind, and what are the challenges you have faced? Because you are the real people who have made it more success. So, what are the challenges you have faced, and how it became more successful? Just a few. If you can brief us, it will be good.
So Cumin was, one of the initiatives for the Taj Group of Hotels, IHCL, and it was kind of, brainchild, or I would say rather as a recommendation from our chairman, Mr. Chandrasekhar, because he himself comes from the biggest, technology
Yes, yes.
field. I mean, having successfully driven TCS to its success where it is now, was how you can incorporate technology with hospitality to be able to reach out to our customers. And post COVID, it was a brilliant plan or a master stroke, and also an opportunity for us to reach out to our guests, because while all our guests were not able to experience, as I said, when I was giving the example of cloud kitchens, where they were not able to experience great food or great cuisine at home because they couldn't visit restaurants. The challenge was always, how do you maintain the quality and still give them the experience of your fine dining restaurants? So Taj has their signature restaurants like the Wasabi, the Golden Dragon, the Masala Craft, the Masala series, and we have had patronage uh, for the last few decades. There have been generations like grandfather, father, son, they have been coming to Taj just to taste that consistency or the quality of the food from those kitchens. So the idea was to kind of bring out those signature dishes, which is not possible for the guests to experience because they are not able to visit the restaurants, to their doorsteps. So there was a lot of involvement of kind of a lot of idea which went behind identifying the dishes, testing, trialing, seeing which are the dishes which will survive. Because the major challenge was, transporting them. It's a totally different thing when you're sitting in the restaurant and the food comes sizzling hot from the kitchen to your table within a span of seconds. And the same thing when the same food has to be, has to reach you in the next 15-20 minutes, packed in a, a nice box or a, packaging material. So a lot of involvement, a lot of research went into what kind of packaging has to be there. It had to be biodegradable, environment friendly. It had to be able to retain the temperature and the consistency of the food. This particular signature dishes which would be popular, which can be, serviceable or deliverable. And then also in terms of, designing the app, making it very user friendly, making the whole structure or the service center where we are able to reach out to the guest or be able to take those calls. So a lot of training went back in. There were teams identified, there were, professionals identified who could take this task forward. But fortunately for us, it was like a lifeline for the at least the first 3 to 4 months, when a lot of hotels were not even allowed to operate their restaurant or banqueting. So it was actually an additional arm or an additional, I would say, support system which we had. And I think going ahead, we are kind of bringing out many more changes in that. So we've launched the Cumin store, and we're going to take it out as a brand where, it becomes, as I said, it becomes an additional arm for IHCL. And that's
Thank you.
the journey is just begun. It's a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Arnab, for explaining the how the cumin being developed and how it went on well, and definitely because during the pandemic time, everyone has all the restaurants been shut, and everyone had faced a lot of challenges, but somewhat cumin helped. As well as hotels also, as well as people, the guests also, to get their food from their preferred restaurants, the preferred hotels. So a last question, and the plenty of young minds are watching this session across India. So being a you are a director of food and beverage service, and many students who are watching this, they started their career to something achieve, do something they want to achieve in the food and beverage service industry, like you. So what do you want to tell them, how how they can achieve their targets or their goals, whatever they're dreaming about now. So just you made a road already, you being a role model for many people. So how, what advice you will give to them, and how they can achieve their dreams or their goals, whatever they want, just from your side, Mr. Arnav.
I'm sure, I mean, I'm sure all the young aspirants, they will really achieve all the great success ahead. But one of the key factors which is very important when you start your career, and not only when you start your career, throughout your career, is to always be open to feedback or changes around you. Because I'm very apt with the topic which we discussed today. See, most of us have to change with time, have to change with external demand, have to start realigning our at times, our goals or what we want to learn or achieve. Because if we don't keep a mind outside, see what's happening, we may get stagnant. So that's very important. Keep learning, keep reading, keep exploring options, keep interacting with your guests. Because most of the times, I would say, uh, I get a lot of information from my guest, rather than maybe reading or studying or browsing, because they are the ones who will share with you what they have experienced when they travel to certain part of the country, certain part of the world, what they have experienced with different brands, with different hotels, with different destinations. So keep interacting with people around, because being in hospitality industry, I'm sure COVID is just a phase. We'll get back to having physical interactions with all our customers, all our guests, all our employees. And that is one venue which will present us a lot of opportunities to exchange information. And when information is exchanged and utilized in the right way, definitely success will be yours, because you'll be able to understand what is required as per the situation. So again, coming back to the point I started with, if you're able to meet the changing consumer or the changing guest expectations, that's where you become unique, or you become the most sought after brand or experience. That's very important for all of us, wherever we are and whatever field we take.
Fantastic, Mr. Arnab, and thank you so much for talking for the last 30 minutes. I think, we didn't see the time. It went very well. And beautifully, you covered about the innovations of technology, which is very much needed at this stage for everyone. And also, it all helps to satisfy the customers. Now, the customer expectations going high. So, technology somewhat it helping us to, satisfy them. And, so it's a great session. It was actually, and thank you so much for your timing and in spite of the busy schedule, and for interacting with our students and talking about the technology and talking about the Todgeness, talking about the cumin. So it was our pleasure or honor having you in the same platform. A lot of insights you've given to us, a lot of inputs. Definitely, our students will be carrying all the inputs and advice what you've given to them, and they would be implementing in their life. Thank you so much, Mr. Arnab. And dear students, thank you so much for watching this session with Mr. Arnab Gupta, the Director of Food and Beverage Service for Taj Falaknuma Palace, Hyderabad. So we will catch up you in another session with another great leader. Until then, bye bye. Take care. Signing off from IHM Career Studio. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Arnab. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.